Hello, Gary Simon of DesignCourse.com. Today is January 26th, and we are going to take our design from Photoshop from yesterday and go ahead and make it in animated reality in After Effects. So, as always, check out DesignCourse.com if you haven't yet. We're going to have courses there, and also all of our videos are there for free, of course, as well. And the project files are available for free in the description below this video in YouTube. And also, for sure, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, let's get started. All right, so get Adobe After Effects open. We'll go to Composition, New Composition, and 1280 by 720, 30 seconds long down here, and we'll call this Breath, and we'll hit OK. All right, so I'm just going to zoom out here. 50% works pretty well for my resolution. We want to import our necessary files, and mine was called, let's see, this is one. I'm going to hold Control and then left click the other ones, and those three. Hit import. Our perspective view is the one that we want to start with here. So if we put it down here and we scale it, hold Shift. That's too much. Yeah, right around there is good to start. Then what we want to do is make sure nothing's deselected. We'll go over here, create a rounded rectangle tool, hold Shift, and make sure that radius, I think it was 4 that we had it at. Actually, let me delete that. I got to make sure this is correct. Yeah, it says 0. Oh wait, that's for the, I'm sorry, the stroke. Yeah. Hold Shift. We'll select. The size doesn't have to be specific. Just around this size. And what we want to do is, yeah, and that border radius does work out because that's basically the same as our other one. So what we want to do now is pre-compose this. So that basically means like putting it in a layer group. So you go Layer, Pre-compose. We'll just call this UI. All right, so now when you double click on this, it opens up a new tab, and this is where we're going to create our UI. The reason we did that is because we're going to use an effect called corner pin to get this on here in the correct perspective. So I'm going to take UI, hit T to get opacity, so we can turn this opacity down just so we can see underneath it. And now we have this corner pin thing, and this is going to be tricky. So it's going to be tough. So over here we have these 4 little circles that are around here. We have to use these to get everything in here correctly. And if you do this, as you see, it doesn't work quite correctly. So we have to kind of pull them out, even across the screen, until we can get this thing properly into view here. You may have to move things around. It's a pain. There has to be an easier way. I just don't know about it, unfortunately. And I was using my scroll wheel just to, you know, see that other one. So I'm zooming up here. And this doesn't have to be perfect because ultimately we're not going to be using this layer. This is just kind of a placeholder, really, so we can get the correct perspective. All right, so that looks good. Okay. All right, so now if we double click on UI, we bring this up, we can see that this hasn't been distorted itself. So that's good. Now what we want to do is recreate some of those elements. So I'm going to go over here and select the ellipse tool and hold Shift, and yeah, just Shift here, and roughly around this size. We'll take the fill, change that to a radial gradient, hit OK, and then up here we can edit that radiant to the proper green color, and I'll just hit OK. So now if we switch back, we can see that is right there, although that looks bad because we have that layer showing. So if we hide it, we can see that that looks a lot better now. And my mouse is about to die, so let me pause this. All right, I plugged it back in. Now if we just select right here, you can see this little dragger thing. That's for the gradient, and it's so hard to see. Basically, if you zoom up and you hold your space bar, you can get a better view. And now you just pull that thing in, and we'll go back to breath. And that way it looks better and not so, you know, sharp. All right, so I may want to increase the size of this thing. Just holding shift. That's better. And maybe move it. Well, let me zoom out here. We'll get our container layer back. Yeah, that's fine here. All right, so the fun part. Okay, so I'm going to basically come back to Photoshop, and what I want to do is hide these layers, create a new one underneath, Control-Shift-N. We're going to make it black. It already is. Well, maybe I'll make it like a dark gray just so we can see underneath here. All right, so if I zoom out, you know, this is real large. What we want to do is take everything, all those layers, hit Control-T, scale it up quite a bit. Now, the one thing that we're going to be importing is this ring, not this stuff in the middle. So I'm just going to get rid of those. All right, now when you scale up and something's a stroke in Photoshop, it won't scale it proportionally. So just come back here and scale this back up to around there. All right, so the idea is to take this ring, and we're going to create two of them. One's going to be red. And what we'll do is create this so that when we bring it into as an image or a Photoshop document into After Effects, we'll use an effect that will reveal it in a radial fashion. So what we want to do is come over to Photoshop, and I'm going to take the mask, hit Control-H just so we can see the points and view. If your grid's showing up, don't show that. Okay. So now I'm going to take this down just so this is a little bit more correct in terms of the angle. All right. And what I can do is right-click this. We're going to go rasterize, and I'm going to create a new layer right underneath this one. Hit OK. Take the brush tool. You want to be pretty big. Maybe not that big. 800. I think that will work well. And we're going to color drop this color right there, and we want to make it slightly darker. Hit OK, and then just click right here. Might be able to go a little bit darker over here, and that way it just kind of gives it some like a gradient. So once we've done that, we can take these three, holding Shift, hit Group, Control-G. So this is going to be good, as in you're under the limit. Right-click this, duplicate the group, or hold Control-Shift-D. This is going to be bad. And we're going to change the color here by going to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. Oh, let's take both of those. Actually, real quickly, before I do that, I want to take this, because obviously this will go higher. And Control-H. You know what? I'm backing up. Sorry about that. I want to have it be able to distinguish that this is the safe line. If you're under, you're good. If you're over, you're bad. But also, depending on how much a person's over, well, they want to know that too. So the way we can do this is take this and take the opacity down, and we'll create a new layer, Control-Shift-N, and then just tab space for that clipping mask. And then we'll create one that goes right here, and this one's going to be black. So now, once we take, let's see here, I think we just take all of them, hit Control E, Image Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. And now we basically want to get to a red color. What is happening? There is a slight, if I hit colorize. Is that just my eyeballs, or is there a very annoying thing going on down there? Let's see. No, nothing that I can see. Let me pause it. Yeah, that was just, I think, an illusion, because I don't see it. If you go to Image Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, you do not see that. Or maybe you didn't even get to see it in a video, but I certainly saw it. Right around there, hit OK. Let me go back to zoom out. All right, so this is our second one. So what we want to do is I'm going to hide this group. Take this, just select on group, hit Control E, and we'll take this. Oops. Hit Control E. All right, so we have our two layers, good and bad. So basically hit Control A and then Control C. Control A will select everything, and then Control C copies it. We'll go to File, New. All right, and then we will save this. And I'll call this, you see I already have this up there, Ring Good. I'll just overwrite that. And then, right, my thing's being slow. Okay, and then we'll go ahead, Control A, Control C, and then we'll go to Control N, enter, Control V. Oops, we don't want to save for web. Just hit Control S, and then Ring Bad. Hit yes. Now let's switch back to After Effects. Go to Project, File, New, or Import rather. What am I doing? And then we'll take Ring Bad and Ring Good, Import. Now we want to import this Ring Good right here. Now it's too big, so we'll just hit Shift and scale that down right around there. And there we go. Looks like crap because of this bottom layer showing up. All right, looks a bit better. All right, so now what I want to do is add an effect. And this is kind of called, I'm just going to type in wipe. No, wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to type in radial. And we see transition, radial wipe. And we'll put that on there. And if you go to transition complete and play with this, you'll see how this will work in a way, but it needs to wipe counterclockwise. There we go. So now what we want to do is go ahead and we're going to add the numbers first. So I'm just going to change that to 0. I'm going to get back this layer over here just to get an idea of where I'm at. Take the type tool, type in 0 or 0.0 or 0.74. How's that? Okay. Change this here to click on this and take right around there. Hit OK. Source Sans Pro is what I'm using. I'm gonna choose extra light, and then bring in the letter spacing a little bit. All right. Maybe a tad bit bigger. All right. So now we have to create an expression. And I found this on the internet. I'm just going to copy and paste the thing in. And so I'm going to provide in the link, if you look at the description below this video, there will be a link to probably a service like Pastebin where I copy and where you can just click on it and you can copy it and then you can paste it where I tell you. Okay, so once you have that copied, we'll go down here and we'll click on that, click on text, then we have source text. So what we want to do is alt-click right on that little timer icon and then Control-V to paste that in. And I do want to make a change. You may not have to do this because I probably pasted in the correct one. But basically you have like a, let me pull this up. You have variables, so you can specify the duration and also the end count. So what we want to do is take this 130,000 and put it to 74. If that's already there in the text, you don't have to worry about doing that part. So just click out of there. And what we'll do is, let me go ahead and bring this back down. You'll see it now counts. In 4 seconds, it gets to 74. Okay, so let's add another text. This will just be that period. Get it into position. Using my down arrow key. That looks good. And then we'll create another text. BAC. Blood alcohol content. Change this to light. Yep. I think I had this white. All right, let's move some things over, holding shift and selecting them both. The text is a little bit too close together, so I'll just pull that out. All right, let's go hide this background. And let's go to breath. Okay. All right, cool. Let's go back to UI. And now we want this to line up the animation, you know, based on this right here. So basically, we're going to have to set a keyframe right at 74 based on where this transition complete part is. So to do that, what we'll do is select, make sure it's selected. We'll find it here. And that's called ring good. Pull this down and, well, actually, we'll just go ahead and set a transition first right there. And then click right here to create a keyframe. Come down here and hit U. And that shows you any keyframes that you have associated with that layer. And then over here, we'll go to the beginning and then we'll change this to 0. Wait, no, 100. Sorry about that. 100. And then real quickly to show the rest, you don't really have to do this to show that black part, but I'm going to. I'm just going to hit 0. So let's go back to breath here and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now I'm going to hit 0 on the number pad and it's going to get this ready to play back. So it's going slower than it actually would be. So this is it at full view. Let me zoom up. All right, pretty cool. All right, that's how you do that then. So real quick, what I also want to do is add in some other text. Good to drive. All right, we'll change the text to green right around there. Hold shift. All right, and then let's scroll up to the top here. We want this to show maybe right around here, so we'll drag this over here. We'll hit T for opacity, set a keyframe, change this to 0, and maybe change this to 100. All right, so now if we hit 0 on the number pad, we can see how that will slowly fade in. Cool. And then another thing I wanted to add is kind of like a gradient. So let me bring this back here. And we could probably use this in and of itself to create that radial gradient. So let's change the fill, over here to a radial. Let's drag this up right around there. And I'm going to change the color here. Well, you know what? We could just change the opacity. So where is that at? Oops. No, it's down here. What am I doing? Yep. We'll hit T. Now we're going to basically, maybe we'll start right here. Create an animation. So at 0, when it's at 0, we're going to create a keyframe there. And then maybe boost it all the way up. I'm going to put it at 20%. Just see what this looks like. There. So we'll go ahead and animate that. All right, and this is the actual result. Perfect. All right. So now what we can do is we're going to have to duplicate some things. So I'm going to pull this up so we can get a good view of all our layers and collapse them. And so basically I'm going to take all these layers, composition, now go to layer, pre-compose, like we did before. We'll call this good UI. And then we're going to duplicate this, so Shift D, or Control D rather. I'm going to switch back up here to the project view. Now where it says good UI, we want to duplicate that as well. So Control D. So this is called good UI 2. What we want to do is with this top selected here and this selected over here, hold Alt and drag it over. So now we have a duplicate version and we can edit good UI 2, which is actually bad. You could rename that if you want to bad. And now we can change everything to red and also replace the this footage to where was that? Ring bad. So we'll do that first. So we'll select this, ring good, ring bad, hold Alt, hover over. Sweet. And I think yeah, when we're right about here, we want to make sure we're directly over this real quick. Over this. Wait, what am I doing? I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry about that. We're going to hit U with ring bad selected. Yeah, there it is. And you want to make sure you're directly over that. And we'll go back to effects. Oh, this is transition complete actually. That's why. Okay. What we want to do before I edit this, sorry I'm being slow. We're going to go over here to that 74 layer. Get down that source text. We're going to scroll up here. And count. We're going to put it like 94. That means like they're over or whatever. So there's that. And let's take this. We're at opacity here. Oh wait, no, sorry. Yeah, this right here. We want to adjust this so that, let me make sure I'm right over it. We want to adjust it so that the transition complete is actually right here. There. All right, so I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to zoom up here, and this one, make it red. BAC we're going to leave there. We're going to change that text to don't drive. Make this red. Take this, change the gradient to red. And then finally we have this thing down here. Make this red. Hit OK. All right, so now if we go back into the UI, we have both of these and they're going to play at the same time. We don't want that, so what we want to do is just move this forward and maybe to right around there. All right, so let's see. Well, first we have to, let me just drag this around here. We'll take the opacity, put a keyframe there, go forward a little bit, hit 0. And then this one we'll put right here, hit T. Opacity will be 0, and then it's going to go to 100. All right. Hit 0. It's going to render out. I'm just going to pause it until it gets all the way so we can see it, when it's ready to go. And this is the actual speed. All right, cool. All right, so that part's done. Now what we want to do is, first real quick, I kind of wanted to push these in a tad bit. I think it stayed there a little bit too long. And then just put this right around here. Okay. All right, that's good. Now what I want to do is, so that would be like the first scene. So what we'll do is back here on our main composition, we're going to hit S for scale. And we're going to create a keyframe right around here. And we're going to scroll just to where that is finished and put another one right there. And what we want to do is go from small to larger. So the way this will work is, yeah, actually, you know what? I'm going to delete that. We're going to take both these layers, hold Shift, go to Layer, Pre-Compose, and call this First View. And then we're also going to hit F4 and click on this little middle icon right there. Actually, I'll declick it just to show, unclick it rather, just to show you what that does. If we scale this, we wouldn't see anything else, but if you click on this, you see everything else outside of the composition. All right, so basically we want to start the animation right around this size right here. So we'll go to click on First View, hit S, put a keyframe there. That's actually 120. It's going to look distorted, so let me... Actually, no, I was wrong. 1 second. Let me go to 100%. Yeah, we're going to scale that down. Let me go to 25 again. Sorry. Right around there. And then I'm going to go here to the end and scale up just a little bit to right around there. That way there will be some movement. All right, so now I'm going to go to Layer, New Solid, and just hit OK. And this is going to be like a transition type thing. So we're going to move this over here, just before there. And then I'm going to take opacity, hit T. It's going to start, it's going to hit 100% around there. Go to the beginning, hit 0. and come out right around the same area and hit 0. So this is what happens. So once we have that right there, you can take the end of this and just get rid of it right around that same area. So if we go all the way, we can make sure it's right on that frame. So now becomes blank after. It looks like it doesn't fade, but the background's white too. So now what we want to do is go back to project and put in top view. We'll scale that down and leave it right around there. Now, in my first video that I did, when I did this project, I had just some text in here. You can add that if you want. I'm not really going to worry about it. You know how to do that. So we're going to move this over. We'll hit, come on over there. Now we want to go to T. Actually, I'm not sure if that's necessary. Yeah, we'll drop this beneath. There we go. And then what we'll do is scale this up. So we'll take we'll hit S. We'll put one there. Maybe right around there. I think that might be too much. If you double click on one, it'll bring you up the scaling properties. I have it starting at 75. I'm just going to put 80. Well, maybe 78. Okay. Control D. You can do this again. And let me go over here. Oops. Well, actually, let me get this and pull in so we can see it. Oh, wait, it's right around there. No. Sorry. All right. So basically want that to end right there. And then we'll do the same thing for side view. So we'll drag this in. Right around there. Oops. Let me go ahead and just take this in size. And we'll drag this beneath here. And we'll do the same thing with the scaling here. And so we'll leave the, we'll hit S, put a keyframe there, and come out to around here, and then just barely. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to go to, I'm going to move things out of the way, and I'm going to render this. I'm going to hit 0. And I'll pause because it has this way to go. All right, and here it is at the regular speed. All right, just very subtle scale and size here. Ooh, that's quick. You'll have that, so what we can do is kind of change some things around over here. This is where it changes. So what I want to do is I'm going to move this back maybe to around here. Move this back over here. We have this one up here, this layer. That looks good. And there's an issue here. That's coming in too early. There. All right, so let me go ahead and hit 0. So here's the full speed. It'd probably be worth having this sped up a little quicker. But that's fine. That's no big deal. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now what I would do is this is the song file. So I've linked to that in the description. You would just drag it in, and if you wanted to have your own voiceover, let me drag this up. You would want to take the audio down just a little bit, maybe to like -8 decibels. And so now when you play this, I don't know if you can hear that through my speakers or through the system audio or not, but and then you would record your voice talking and saying whatever you want. Cool. All right, so to basically export this, you can go to, first of all, you want to make sure you take your timeline down here and you drag this wherever you want it to end. Oh, you know what? I forgot about one thing. I forgot about the text up here. That's kind of an issue. So let me, I mean, I would imagine you know how to do that already because we've done it once, but it's worth finishing. So let me go ahead and get things into view here. There's not enough room up here. Let me see if the size of this can be adjusted at all. I'm going to get rid of the scale here. Yeah, that's like the best we can get away with probably, because I didn't position that right. I think we just add one line of text up there and be fine. So I'm going to back up, Control Z. We're going to get our things back. And then we'll leave it right there. And we will go ahead and type, what was it? I forget what I had up there. Yeah, know your limit. We'll make that white text. Maybe it would look even better right there. Oops. Yeah, and then what we would do is hit T, and then for opacity, we'd make it 0, create a keyframe, 100. All right, so now we zoom out, pull this stuff down, move this over, hit 0. And now let it run through. And then it will stop and the scale, and then that will come down there. Cool. All right. We are almost done with the full Mega tutorial. Tomorrow we're going to get started with creating the actual website design for this product in Photoshop. So that will be fun. All right. As always, visit designcourse.com. Subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't yet, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.